history means nothing to you. James Harden makes history means nothing to you. So you know what, guys like you, you fall in love with highlights. I get it. You see the dunks, you see the layups, you see the record. You fall in love with the nostalgia of what Giannis is doing. And I hate to sound like I'm taking away from it.
But you are.
But from a strategic standpoint, because to the naked eye, this is something you wouldn't see about James Harden. He breaks coverages. As a guy who had to defend in the NBA and had to game plan and scheme for guys, he sees coverages that we've never seen. You see traps. You see box and ones. Those are high school defenses, bro. You literally cannot stop James Harden. The one thing special about Harden is everybody just sees the scoring. But James Harden will make the correct play time after time after time. The reason that he plays so much isolation basketball is because you can't play him in coverage. If you show, he'll hit the slip. If you are in a drop, he throws the lob to Capella. He makes the correct play time after time. And if we talk about the MVP, which is an individual award, not a team award, and by the way, his team is having success also in the tougher Western Conference where there are no nights off. I don't know how you don't unanimously give the award to James Harden.
You know, for a guy that says and used as his calling card, I played defense in the NBA, you show so little respect for half of the floor. You said Domonique has no respect for history. You, my friend, Ryan Hollins, have no respect for defense, of which it's not even a close call. You want to talk about unanimous.
You know Harden is second in the league in steals, right? You're aware of that, right? So before you just discredit.
So if you say I fall in,
yeah,
you say I fall in love with highlights, you're falling in love with these stats, like saying that he's making history or he gets a bunch of steals. We all know that James Harden is not a strength on defense. While he may be getting some steals, that's all people always argued about. Iverson was aggressive taking steals, but he was not necessarily great on defense. The same can be said about James Harden.
You know, after the All-Star break, they have the best defense in the league, Houston, right?
Most valuable player on their team, and that's because of James Harden? That's you just said it's an individual award, not a team award.
He has improved so much defensively this year.
We're 5 minutes into the show, and you got three contradictions.
James Harden is a capable defender.
Capable.
Let me correct. Does he have the impact? He doesn't have the impact of Giannis.
Please, stop. Stop. It's not the most improved on defense award. It's not the most capable on defense award. It's the most valuable player in the NBA award. And to compare James Harden's defense to Giannis Antetokounmpo's, please, man.
No, I didn't want you to dismiss it because you're dismissing it.
Stop. Giannis is the MVP. Unless you believe that half of the floor does not matter, it's not a close vote. Giannis is the MVP. I'm going to give you 3 reasons. Number 1, he is the best player on the best team in the East. He has led the Milwaukee Bucks to the top of the Eastern Conference and probably the biggest contender to take down the Golden State Warriors. I don't think they will, but they are your odds-on best bet to do it because of Giannis Antetokounmpo. And on top of that, the gap between Giannis and the second best player on the Bucks is much greater than James Harden and Chris Paul. The gap from Giannis to Chris Middleton, no disrespect to a great player Middleton, is much greater than the gap from Harden to CP3. On top of that, number 2, Giannis is a force all over the floor at every given moment. Offensively, defensively, he is a force of nature stopping us. Did you watch the 76ers game where he had 5 blocks, 4 of them on Joel Embiid? That's defense, my friend. He is the MVP finally because of that end of the floor, defense. It's been batted around. We've been having the debate, but truly it is the defining moment in this debate. It is why he wins the MVP.
You saw more highlights. You saw highlights of him blocking the beat, and you fell in love with him. Hold on.
Go ahead and contradict yourself again.
Eric Bledsoe didn't get paid, doesn't have an impact. The ball's not in his hands.
He's not good.
Chris Middleton wasn't an all-star. He's not hooping.
He's
not taking advantage of matchups because you're talking about this. And hold on, can I address him?
You asked me questions.
No, I want you.
Those were question marks.
I heard. Help me out here. When James Harden was out, where were the Rockets? Since there's just this discrepancy, there's a difference. Where were the Rockets?
James Harden has been great.
No, excuse me. Answer the question.
He carried that Rockets team to a better record once
CP3
was out. Answer the question.
Where were the Rockets since he doesn't mean that much?
What do you mean?
They were 12th in the Western Conference, looking out with Carmelo and Chris Paul shaking their heads about to blow it up against the Nets. about there was so
He's
much
the best.
problem.
That's true of every best player on every team in the league. You take the best player off everything. Like, that's not a testament to James Harden. They were bad without him. We're comparing two great players. So inevitably you have to nitpick a little bit. And there's a little bit more to nitpick from James Harden than there is for Antetokounmpo. They're worse this year than they were last year. They're a 4 seed when they were a 1 seed. It's hard for me to go into the season understanding the story of the season and say that we're gonna look back on this season and remember this as Giannis's coming out party, not as another year where James Harden was awesome on offense. Like, that's what's going to happen.
And he was
great.
efficient.
Give him an
His
MVP
usage
trophy.
was amazing.
Just one smaller than the one you give to Giannis.
You honestly believe his impact is more than James Harden? You honestly do not see
On that
James
team,
Harden take games over.
Yes.
You do not see the ball in his hands as far as usage and making everybody else around him better. You didn't see Chris Paul go out. You didn't see Eric Gordon go out. You didn't see Clint Capella, who was supposed to be the defensive anchor of the team, since defense is so important. And James Harden continued to win game after game. And hold on, in the toughest conference, top to bottom in the world, the Western Conference.
The gap between the conferences isn't that big this year. And why are we even mentioning
the gap between the conferences is that big. It is that big.
Why are we even mentioning the other people on the Rockets roster? Like, he's the best player on the roster. You take him off, they're going to be bad. Say that for every other team. Take it off, they're going to be bad. That's not a testament to how good James Harden is.
Because Will Cain apparently thinks that there's this between Giannis and the rest of his team, as if Chris Middleton can't hoop, as if those guys are playing good basketball.
This should be easy to do. Who's better, Chris Paul or Chris Middleton?
I take Middleton.
Oh,
I take Middleton right now. Right now, I take Chris Middleton right now.
It's not fun if you're going to be dishonest. Like, we can't have a conversation if you're going to be dishonest.
Would it make any difference whether the vote was before or after the postseason? Would it sway your opinion?
Well, that requires me to project what's going to happen in these playoffs. I do think that the NBA MVP award should not just be a regular season award. We recognize that it's essentially two different sports. The NBA regular season and the NBA playoffs are just entirely different. And the playoffs are the real true test. You can be, and Ryan, I know you don't disagree with this, you can be a stat stuffer during the regular season, and it can disappear in the playoffs.
Yep.
Without indicting any one particular player. What you are when the metal is tested, when it matters, in a 7-game series,